chat with Cat and Nat. And I was thinking that it's so crazy how like things just change without anyone really like talking about the change. I mean, I'm sure in the business world, they're talking about it in the backdrop. I'm talking about like podcasting and how it was so long ago when we decided to try a podcast and not be paid anything for it and just to fucking do it.
I know.
And now literally I'll be like, I'll look up someone and they're kind of like, they've come up in my feed where I'm like, wait, what do they do for work?
Podcast.
And they just have a podcast. Like, let's just talk about the Montana boys. They don't sing. They don't dance. They don't ride horses. They moved to Nashville as a boy band who lip syncs, but they have a podcast. I haven't seen the podcast.
Yeah, I saw it. That's where I saw him talking about the one guy's like, I have a 19-year-old girlfriend. So when Kristen comes over, she's closer to her mom's age than to any of us.
What do they talk about on the podcast?
Probably Kristen Cavallari.
And that's the other thing is that a lot of, and then a lot of people who were on like reality television and then they have to.
She was a real zinger. She would start a network and take a percentage of their podcast because she really is the one who put them on the map. So I know she's like in love, but I'd be like, well, let's get a business deal out of this.
Absolutely.
Lifelong.
Although I guess because they're romantically involved. I mean,
Just
I guess for
hire a
business
team.
people, you hire a team.
Like, be like, call it the Cavallari Network or something, and then you can.
She might just have so much fucking going on that she doesn't need anything more.
I know, but they are literally talking about her, and they're
growing because of her.
Yep.
It's funny.
All for love.
Sometimes I think I see that there's love between them, but it's just so convenient to make them both relevant. And especially at a time when this movie's coming out and everything like that, it's just such perfect timing. But the baby thing,
it's real. I saw the podcast clip today.
Yeah.
Because she's like, I have to think about it. I have to. Because it's very serious between him and I.
If Mark dies, whenever I play this game about me being with someone else,
him here.
I can't have him here because I don't want to deal with an ex-husband.
I can't have a baby.
So you can't make that happen, huh?
Mm-mm.
For your new husband?
I'm done. I got my tubes tied like a dog.
Also, it's like, would you ever want to get married again? Like, what the fuck is the point of that shit? You know the celebrities that get married like 6 times over? Why?
It's fun.
Oh, it's fun.
Yeah.
It's fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a fun event.
Couldn't you just have a party to celebrate yourself?
Yeah, but just call it a wedding.
Yeah, okay.
That's fucking fun. I mean, in life.
When's the last time we got to go to a wedding?
Oh, my daughter's dying to go to one so badly. She keeps saying, I want to go to one. I'm like, you will have a season and all you'll do is go to weddings. And I'm like, you'll have so much fun. But she wants to go to one now. I don't know why. Because she watches all the rom-coms.
Because
like,
weddings,
it looks like so much fun. No, they're not all fun.
Every wedding I've been to is fun, but I have to tell you, like my siblings, I feel like they have gone to like 100 weddings and they're still going. I can count on my 2 hands how many weddings I've been to, and probably half of them I've been in the wedding. Like maybe I don't have a lot of friends. Maybe I don't.
Here's the thing, different thing about America versus Canada in a big way. I feel like Americans, you have like college. It's like you go to college and you have a group of college people that stay in your life forever. Okay. So I don't feel like many people went to university and have like a group of like sorority people. So I feel like you end up in America going to these events constantly. I only know this because I have a really good friend. One of my best friends also lives in New York and was part of a sorority. And it's still like, it's a different way you
But my siblings are all like that. They have their high school crew, their university crew.
So then.
Their work crew.
Then they're getting invited. Then we're not popular.
I never
went to different age demo.
I never went to university, so I never met a group there. You didn't meet a group at university.
I did, but not people, not traditionally living people. Like not people who are...
Obviously, I met people at college, but not people that I still talk to today.
I talked to a few, but not like, it's like I'm meaning traditional. Like there was no traditional group where we all went to...
And you're not going to their weddings.
No, and none of them got married.
That's another thing. A lot of my friends didn't get married, and then some of my siblings, it was like COVID, so we missed out on that. But
and I had like different unique weddings. Like, and 2 of my siblings didn't get married.
Yeah,
and the 2 that did, I was pregnant for
So
I
I
had
don't
babies
feel
for
like
both.
I got like
baby babies.
when people are like, "Oh my god, another fucking wedding! It's wedding season." I never got to that point where I got sick of them.
I feel like our kids are like that with bat mitzvahs.
Yeah, it's not as exciting anymore.
It's like another one.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot. There was a lot.
I only got to go to one in my life,
I've never been to one.
but
I got invited to one, but I just walked in the door from like.
I'm going to 2 in the fall, and I'm so excited because it's the closest thing to a wedding that I'm going to get. And then like, oh, you know when you get invited to like, I'll go to your kids' weddings if they have weddings.
Yeah, if they have them.
Yeah, there's just a lot of people in my world didn't get married. My cousins never got married.
Yeah, no, there isn't. Some people, it's expensive. It's often like not doable. A lot of parents can't afford people's weddings anymore. So it's like,
I'm saying everybody else seems to be over weddings and I have only just begun. So if you have a wedding or you'd like to invite, I want to come to your wedding. Yeah, I want to go to one in Tennessee. I want to go to ones abroad.
You know what I miss? I don't know how people do this. I really am curious how people do this. And I don't know how you do it financially. I don't know how you do it like with minutia of other people, like your children. I see people going on so many girls' weekends and then they go with dates with their kids. And I'm not just talking to 2 hours away in a drive. It's like plane trips.
I'm thinking of someone in particular right now. Can you feel who I'm thinking?
Yeah.
Holy shit.
But there's a bunch of them that do that.
No, I know. I'm just thinking that's the first person who comes to mind.
And I think to myself, I'm like,
how do you? Because even just like the travel, the packing, unpacking, arranging for the kids, the money. Let's not even get started on the money.
I mean, you can't get on a plane today under $800. You cannot eat like Coach. And in Canada, I don't know what it's like in America, but in Canada, I'm not joking you because I don't know what they've done in America, but in Canada, our airlines out of here is you have like 5 fares. And the first.
Do they still call it Coach? I haven't heard that in a long time.
Economy. So in economy, you can buy the base fare, but you cannot change it. You cannot cancel it. You can nothing. Like if you have anything come up for that plane ticket, which mentally you probably wouldn't, but it's not a good feeling when you're a mom to not be able to have some wiggle room because I mean, life has changed for us in terms of someone's like, actually, we need you here this date, change this. So if you cannot change your ticket, you lose the money. So and it is minimum $300 one way. So right away, you take a risk and that's without even all the taxes. So you're looking at like $364 without even having a little bit of ability to change it. And when you do get the ability to change it, they put a fee on able to change it. But now you can change it for a fee. Before you couldn't even change it. Then if you want the one where you can change with no fee, you're jumping up. So you're paying for like, it just keeps going.
In our world too, we're watching people who can afford it. I think the majority of the population doesn't do that.
I think also people don't feel guilty about taking their kids individually away.
Who has time for that?
I just see a lot of people do their own.
I remember when we were younger and we were new moms and everyone gave advice and stuff. And they're like, take your kids on individual dates. Okay, individual dates, maybe going for ice cream for Cat and I, not taking them to New York for the weekend.
It's a carpool on your own.
Yeah.
I'm driving or picking you up from school by yourself because someone's sick or someone has is at hockey or I'm taking you to a dance recital.
Yeah, I think that those things and those people, it's a different budget.
Is that all it is?
It's gotta be. Actually, you know what? Even if I had all the budget in the world, I don't think I would travel that much. Exhausting.
I just don't know where everybody else goes.
Like when you're away.
Like how does everyone else live? Like
maybe they only have 2 kids and maybe their kids don't do competitive sports.
Maybe. I just look
and maybe they have a nanny and maybe they have babysitter and maybe they have a mother-in-law and maybe they have a mother who does everything for them.
That is my
question.
No, that's my insecurity online. Like I often feel like YOLO, but then I'm like, but how do you all YOLO so hard when it feels so overwhelming to even get to.
You made a really good decision by making a backyard oasis with a pool.
I did. I feel good about that.
You don't even need to go anywhere because you have it right here.
I mean, there are something about pulling your kids out of like situations and making memories that aren't like the same monotony. You know, I signed my son up for camp because 2 reasons. One, he asked
sleepover camp,
and it was usually they fill up in September. The fact that I actually thought not a chance in hell there'd be room because I know this one place he's going.
I always feel like there's always a way.
I mean, last year I had a chance where 1 year I had one of my kids was on the wait list and, didn't make it. They've been like last year, one kid made it, one didn't.
Yeah.
Remember for that one camp?
Yeah. I'm sure if I had accepted, you would have gotten in.
maybe, but it was the week before. So it's like we didn't make this happen. But anyways, and every summer I have this really hope that we can just live free, live without anything, like just live like, I don't know how I see people living, just jumping in water and eating watermelon. And
that's exactly what your life looks like, by the way.
Well, it's not.
Right.
I mean, there is when we're together, but when you're not here.
Yeah, but even when you're with your kids, it looks very carefree. You're eating watermelon by the pool.
There's moments, that's for moments, but as they're getting older, they're not as carefree because they need to be entertained by something. And that's shitty. That's probably that's what we created. But it's like they have what are we doing? I have two. One, so easy, loves being in the house. I don't know if that'll change. I'm fine with her home all summer. She's not asking me where we're going, what we're doing, what are we doing today. That question gives me so much anxiety when they're like, what are we doing today? Because it makes me feel like everyone else is doing things. And people are so busy in the summertime. Like they're the moms who take them to tourists in the city. I'm fucking not that mom. I'm not that mom.
But a lot of them are at daycare and day camps all day.
It's really true. So if you have a child,
the majority,
if you have a child who, if they're not occupied, they're on a screen. And I didn't want to fight with screens with him all summer. And I know that he is someone, you have one too, but he is not a screen kid. Thank God he's not a screen kid.
Which one?
The one who needs to be busy all the time.
I know.
Because if you have a screen kid, they're gone. Like it's like you can't actually communicate with them, and they could be on the screen for hours and not even know the hours went by.
Yeah, no, I do. I have two like that.
Right. And so the screens are just like, and I didn't want to be like, get off your phone, get off your phone, get off your phone. What are we going to do? What am I going to do? And I think I have like PTSD from last summer too, because we did nothing. I couldn't even leave really the house. I was in the house all summer. It was really a really hard summer. So part of me, selfishly, and because he wanted it, was like, fine, you want camp? I'll send you to camp for a month. That's like unheard of. Like I'm actually having anxiety about it.
I'm just so glad I'm gone for most of it because I wouldn't want him gone for that long under my watch.
Me neither. But he's in a way ready. We're not as important to him anymore. He's ready to be more with his friends and with me. It's kind of a sad thing.
I know. I was thinking about when I was driving TJ to school this morning, and I remember when we always say like, oh, we're waiting in the parking lot or we're driving the kids. And they're like, one day you won't be doing any of that. And I was thinking when they're all away in the morning, when we would be driving to school, we'll see all those people driving their kids to school.
And walking.
And we won't have anybody to be driving. And it'll be so weird. That's where we definitely have to make sure that we like fill the space. But that will be a reality like that.
It's coming fast too.
Yeah. And then there's going to be the summers where they'll be having to work.
Yeah. And actually one of them is starting that this summer too. Hopefully she gets the job, quote unquote, the job. And and she does something, because idle summers are beautiful in theory, terrible in reality sometimes when it's just, you're the plan maker. It is for me. It is for me. Maybe if we lived on a farm, maybe if we lived...
Grass is always greener.
I don't know. I mean, I know people have cottages. I think their kids just kind of play. But I feel like you always need a friend. I don't know how.
And then you got to watch them by the water.
I don't know, but they're at the age where they want to spend money or be on a phone. And for me, that's not I
haven't gone there to the summer yet because that's very.
Your husband's really good at making plans, though.
I mean, we don't have any,
but he will.
But I always feel like we can get into something last minute. You know what I mean? I know that in the city they say like you can't, but I'm like, there's always someone who will take your money when you feel like there's always tennis. There's always something. And then every single week that goes by that money's not spent, I always feel like score.
Totally.
So
it's really a personal thing. I think it's more a me thing than a them thing.
Yeah.
Like I because you're gone for like almost 3 weeks.
Oh, that's what I was going to say is you know how I like when the kids are around. Like I love when your kids are sick and home from school. I like when my kids are home. Sometimes I'd really rather them not go to school. I'd rather them just be home.
Yeah.
I don't know if I got really used to that feeling when COVID, or even I always looked at school and I always think it's so weird that you send your babies off all day long somewhere. And I know that's the job to create. I also just think it's weird.
Yeah.
And I was thinking that I'm probably really going to miss. Like, I don't want to be here when your kids are away at camp.
Great. Okay.
No, you know what I mean? I like it. I like everybody around.
Yeah.
I like the feeling of having them. And that's not going to happen one day. They're just not going to be around.
I was thinking that we have our older one. Actually, all of them like to be around us.
Mm-hmm.
We're the issue with that.
Yeah.
That
my friends told me that so long ago. Your kids don't want to go to camp because you and Kat make life too much fun.
Well,
and they're like, we go to work. Our kids have to go.
I know, but I was also thinking in my head when the minute I signed him up, even everyone who is going, who knows me, is like, so is he going for 2 weeks or is he going for the month? And I was like, because selfishly, what he wants and what I want are two very different things. And I was like, oh my God. So I texted my one friend who goes, and I'm like, how did you get only the 2 week option? Because really it's a month or not.
She does the 2 week?
She's like, well, I'm Italian. I just pulled the Italian card and say I'm Italian. And I was like, okay, so what can I say? What can I say?
So a lot of our European friends, they're like, we don't do sleepover camp. One of our friends.
Oh my God, sleepover camp? My husband's like, sleepover camp?
She was like, what? They're so funny when they talk about it too. They're like, leaving my kid with a bunch of teenagers? Are you fucking crazy?
I know. So I'm like, okay. And I'm going through and I'm like thinking, then there's a visitors day on the 20th. So I'm like, okay, I'll pick him up.
You're going to get no choice.
Like and then I'm like, I'll pick him up and on that day.
Yeah.
And for me, I'll want him home. But
can you imagine how much he's going to grow in a month? We're not going to know him when he comes back.
I know.
He's going to talk different.
He'll probably have a mustache.
Act different. Oh my God, I saw Teen Stash this morning. I go, look, TJ Teen Stash. No, so, he's going to be so different.
And I just thought, I felt in that moment I had issues because we do. It's not like,
it's not like everybody else doesn't do it.
Yeah, and it's not better for him to be home.
No.
Like, it's not like I'm offering anything other than I selfishly, like, I'm not, like, it's not like I'm going to make him a better person by him being home. I have a really hard time letting him go. I have a really hard time letting him go. Oh my God.
Yes.
Really hard time.
I hated when they went to sleepover camp.
And he's really my only one right now who's like really like on, like, I feel like he's trying to pull out of the stallion. Like he's trying to like if I have him on
inevitable, it's going to happen. But yes, it
hasn't happened with the other ones. So
yeah, those girls, they're going away together. Our daughters are going away together
they're going to call us all. They're probably going to invite it. Can you come? Can you guys come meet us?
My daughter's on play dates. Sorry, my daughter's not on play dates. She's out with her friends and boys and they FaceTime me all the time.
I know.
But I don't think when those two girls come home, people are like, when they come, they're only gone 10 days, right? Or is it 14 days?
14 days.
They're only gone 14 days. They're going to come back exactly. Sounds like they're going to come back to, no, those two are going to stay like that until they're 50 years old.
Oh, forever.
They're already done. They're done growing.
They're going to be like that forever. The two of them.
But the boys, when you let them go,
I'm not ready to let him go.
I know.
And I feel like we're fighting.
I can see it and I can feel it.
Him and I are like,
we were reminiscing about Party Boy.
Yeah, he's still that, but very different.
And we were talking about theater and someone said, oh, I know, we were at the drag show. And Taylor was like, Max and TJ used to be, they could be on stage and do these kind of things. And I'm like, oh my God, Party Boy.
Yeah. No, he's just crazy boy.
We got to get him some costumes, see if we can bring it back.
I bet at camp. You're supposed to bring costumes.
Actually,
he'll probably be the one dressed. He'll probably have a shirt off with like a wig and like a tutu. I can totally see it.
You know what his next costume is going to be? A hat that has the things
when
with
you
the beer.
sent me that video of them chugging root beer, I had it was a crazy weekend. I'm at dance competition. She's sick. Olivia's sick. Mark's at the whatever.
We just left the boys alone for a long time. We had to leave
the boys alone.
Which they're old enough to babysit, so that's fine.
Yeah, they're grade 7. They're fine. Grade 6 and 7. And Nat's like, okay, I'm going to come get you for dinner. Like, are you guys okay? And they're like, don't come and get us. Leave us alone in the house on their own. Like,
we're having so much fun. And then they sent me videos of them laughing. And then we were like, oh my gosh, they're like frat boys or whatever. And then
I'm like,
they sent me a video.
Before they'd be like, no, can you come get us? And then we got a video and they're chugging root beers at the same time, trying to see how many they can drink at the same time. And I'm like, oh my God.
It was exactly what we thought.
I was like, oh. So I've never really had one want to go.
Mm-hmm.
I don't love it. And again, that camp thing, so I'm like, wow, I can see how parents parent with issues. And I know that this is a big issue for me. I can feel
Issues.
it. I mean, like, no, I can feel that I could hold on very tight for a very long time.
Mm-hmm.
I can feel it.
Mm-hmm.
And even my daughter gave me a list of things I have to do to let him go.
But I don't think that they give you a choice. You know what I mean? It's not going to be you that's going to make the decision to let him. He's going to tell you, and then he's going to do it.
No, he's not telling me. He's doing it.
Right. And he's going to tell you he wants to do camp, and he's going to leave. And he's going to tell you he's going to go out.
I just thought he would always want to just be home with me.
I know. I'm like, but I know.
I'm so fun.
It's like he's seeing the world.
He's like, don't be like that. I'm like,
I know.
Be like what?
I know.
We're best friends.
I know.
No, we're not. I have my own friends.
I know. How dare they?
How dare you be normal?
I know. It's really inappropriate.
And you don't tell me everything?
What the hell?
Nothing.
I know.
And like they're like whispering. Excuse me. No one whispers in this house. Actually,
and
nobody.
Also, what could you possibly be talking about that I don't know?
And our older two tell us everything. So I don't know.
You know, they're great. You know, those two girls are great to be the oldest family. I'm so glad our oldest are girls.
I said, you are going to have to help guide this one.
Yeah.
You're going to have to be the one. You're going to have to
she will
check in. You're going to have to tell me things.
She will.
Yeah, and I won't ever tell anyone.
No.
I'll tell no one.
No.
I mean, hopefully it all goes well. I just think that as a it's really scary to be a mom to boys right now. In my opinion, it feels very scary to be a mom to boys for multiple reasons. But the biggest one being, I feel like I can see it. I can see where the pack mentality comes in. You can see it when they're all together. You can see it's like this. My daughter was at a grocery store, and it was an older man, and her friend had their uniforms on. He was older, and he is behind them, and he's like, "Roll your skirts up a little more. They're too long." She didn't know what to do. Her and her friend were like, "What the fuck? Like, I'm checking out at a grocery store." And I was like,
was he being sarcastic?
No.
He wanted them to roll it up.
Yes. He's like, they'd look better a little shorter. Something like totally inappropriate. Okay. And I thought, I'm like, how old was he? And he was older. That's my only hope in hell. Cause I'm like, I hope that she's like, how do they think they can say that? And I just said, I hope we're in a place where you feel ashamed and dirty that you would. How do you not know that's wrong? How do you not know that's wrong? And how is that okay just to say that to someone? And you must say it all the time. So I'm like, how did you get raised? Because I bet your mom is a good person. And I bet you have a sister and you might have a wife. How the fuck did we get there? And what did you not learn? And how did we really, because I think we like to tell people they're bad people or like he's just like this, but I really do believe there's something they're learning that I want to teach them so they're not like that. Because how many men can be that dirty when you walk by somewhere and they're saying things?
And something they just learned is acceptable. I honestly think that I feel like I'm a good leader in my house, but I feel like my daughter, since she was so young, and Olivia too, has been such like a lesson teacher to the boys about what they can do, what they can say, what's acceptable, what's not acceptable. I'm not saying that these boys aren't going to make all the right decisions, but I feel like we're blessed to have these girls in our house.
I do, but our boys are going out with people who don't have sisters, maybe like that, and
but at least they have that.
They do, I hope. And I remember we were having a conversation, and she said, and she asked me, and I was like, "Girl, this has been the struggle for life." She's like, "Why, if a girl sleeps with a bunch of people or hooks up with a bunch of people, they're considered, there's a new name. It's not hoe, but it's considered hoe, but boys aren't. Why can they go and ask a million girls for a million numbers and they're fine? But if you hook up with still, she literally used a word, she's like a hoe, but it's called something different." And I'm like, it's not changed. And she's like, no. And the other thing they do is they'll reach out to you on Snapchat. They'll reach out to each other and right away they'll be like, hey, what do you look like? Right away. What do you look like? And which is ironic because I thought, that's not that far from what Chelsea and whatchamacallit did. And she described herself and then the whole thing went sideways.
And they ask, how tall are you? And then they could literally just ditch the conversation.
Yeah. And they're like, sorry, they're like, they block you. And I'm just like, so
can you imagine how, like back in the day, immediately crushed you would be? Or do they become a little desensitized to it? Because it doesn't feel like asking or getting asked. It feels like they're so casual about it now that maybe it's like,
My daughter just blocks them all right away. The minute they say, "What do you look like?" block.
I know, but
Yeah.
and it was no big deal.
No, some of them have ready pictures to go. Like
Yeah,
of
but,
themselves.
it feels like no big deal to ask those questions. So I'm wondering if people are just sensitized.
Well, that's terrible too.
But maybe you get
Because
a
if
thicker
boys
skin.
are still cool and girls are still hoes, like that is not cool. Like I guess my point is, how far have we actually moved?
Yeah.
How far have we actually moved? And what are we not teaching our sons? What are we missing here? Like, what are we actually missing? Because then I also think this is a very dark conversation on this side, but like all the sexual assaults that happen, there are that many, that many men just walking around sexual assaulting girls.
Yes.
That many.
Yes.
What the fuck are we not learning and teaching? What are we missing as a society?
I was watching, so I watch a lot, is that, and this is really scary, is that this one predator was like, I tried to resist my temptation almost my whole life. I need to give in to this now. Like I couldn't hold back anymore. And when you think about how often they're pedophiles.
Oh, I know.
That's not something that they learned. A pedophile doesn't often learn that from their parents. What the fuck is that?
So it's how many predators are there, and then how many people think it's acceptable to go, because most sexual assaults in the people we know, it's from someone you know, right? So like how many, so I guess it's like what's biological and what's learned, because
it's so scary.
Yeah, because it's like, as I raise a son, it's like, what can I teach you to do the right thing and know what's right and wrong? Do I have to teach you, or do you just know?
And are you ever going to have to resist a temptation that you can't help?
100%. 100% they are.
It's not really terrible.
And in a moment. Oh,
perfect timing.
You.
Are we going to spray?
Upstairs. Ants? Yeah. Okay. We got to go. We didn't take all of our breaks. Thank you.
Bye, guys.